Mm.
Boom. Top of it, top of it. Welcome to Deconflicted, where we talk about the three D's in life, which is discernment, decisions, and deconfliction. I'm your host, your brother, Antoine Jarvis, with my other brother, the other host.
Brian Boggs here to give you some game that you can implement at the speed of now to improve your perspective on life.
And let's go ahead and get into this, man. We're going to talk about today interactions with law enforcement. My son just got pulled over, was it 2 days ago? For not turning his signal on when he made a turn, and ended up in handcuffs behind in a cop car behind it. So, but before we go into that, we wanted to have a discussion about our interactions. We wanted to have a discussion about uh, the thought process from both sides, and going to there. Um, Brian, have you ever been pulled over by the police? And what
What?
did you learn from that experience?
What? Man, as a younger man, I had a 5 year period when I was in college where I probably got pulled over at least 50 times.
In five
Like
years.
over 5 years, I got pulled over constantly because I had just got out the army. I was 23 years old. I got out of the army in December '96. My mom still lived in the projects. I had bought a Ford Expedition when they first came out in December '96. So driving a Ford Expedition in the hood, everybody thought I was a drug dealer. The cops would pull me over for all kind of stupid stuff, all kind of stuff, and they would give me tickets, and I never ever paid a ticket. I always took it to court. 85% of the things I got pulled over for and got tickets for, I got dismissed. I literally almost lost my security clearance when I was in the Navy because of all the times I got cited.
So now, I know some people are going to be curious about that. Did you end up getting an attorney, or did you find
Now
these yourself?
I
And how
fought
did
them
you
all
educate
myself.
yourself?
I fought them all myself. The only time I had an attorney, it was two times I had an attorney. One time I'm in Cincinnati. We had this big attorney, Kenneth Lawson. He was fighting to overturn the loud noise ordinance that had been instilled and some discriminatory laws that came on the books for going into Eden Park. So I pulled in with my expedition, had my system going, and he was like, "Hey, keep bumping your stuff, and if you get ticketed, I represent you for free." So, and of course, I got ticketed. Uh, there's a whole story about it. My face was in the paper. They tried to say I incited a riot, but he represented me for free, and it all got dismissed. And then the other time was I got arrested for they tried to arrest me for concealed weapon, and I knew I had did everything right. I mean, how can it be concealed when you can see the weapon in my car? That doesn't even make sense. So when I went to court, they tried to amend it to improper transportation of a firearm, but according to the police officer's report, I had my weapon in the exact condition as the statute requires. But a lawyer who was fighting to overturn Ohio's concealed weapons ban, concealed carry ban, he contacted me and he represented me for free, and in that case got dismissed.
Mm. Okay, so you get some guardian angels coming through real quick to see, how can we utilize this to exercise our rights, and use this case right here to be proof of that.
I mean, you could say guardian angels, but I'm gonna be honest. I would have beat those without the lawyers.
Mm.
Well, with a loud noise, I might not have beat that one. But the concealed carry slash improper transportation of a firearm, I would have beat that one because I knew, like the officer's report lined out exactly the condition that they found my weapon, which is in plain sight, cocked back, and unloaded, which is the condition that they saw it in, which is how the statute read.
In a case, in a glove compartment, where
No, no, no. You can't. No, you can't have it in the case or in the glove compartment. See, that's now concealed. You got to have it in plain sight. So when I was a younger man, when I would ride around, I always had my gun right in the center console, right on the center console in plain sight, so that everybody could see it. That the way people knew, hey man, I got a weapon. You know, I didn't want it to be no misunderstandings. And I had went to this club called Caddies. It was it moved from downtown to Forest Park, and so I had took my gun off the center because I didn't want anybody breaking in my car, and I just set it on the back seat. That way it could still be seen, but you had to really be looking for it because I got tinted windows, so you got to really be looking. But because my front windows wasn't tinted, my rear windows were. So I didn't want it in the front because most people, they looking in the front window if they want to see something to steal out your vehicle. So I had it in the back.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I know a couple people that used to break into cars and all that kind of stuff.
That's facts. That's facts. That's why I asked. I'm like, where did you put that? Where'd you put that thing, man? You know what I'm saying? Because somebody see that thing out as soon as you run to the liquor store real quick. Somebody see that little thing on the dash. I'm like, oh, that's an easy little bing real quick. We grab. You see what I'm saying? But no, I totally get it. And the thing about it is, if people caught what you said was, you knew what the statutes were.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So because you knew what the statutes were, you were able to play along with what they're going to try to use against you in court. Because your Miranda rights is, anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You know what I'm saying? So not just what you say, but also what you do. They're going to use that against you in a court of law. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that when they do try to spin that on you, you could turn around and say, well, isn't that what the statute says I'm supposed to do?
Exactly. And that's all I kept saying. I'm doing exactly by the statute. You guys don't know the law. I'm doing exactly by the statute. You guys don't know the law. I didn't argue with them. They handcuffed me. Didn't argue. Put me in the car. Didn't argue. I just said, hey, I'll see you guys in court. This is an easy one.
What would outside of the noise ones, why would they pull you over? Why did they pull you over for that concealed weapons?
I wasn't pulled over.
Oh, okay. That just pulled up on you.
So I had drove up to this club / bar, and I had went inside with a couple friends, and then when we came outside, I'm walking in my vehicle, and then there's a cop right there, and he says, "Is this your vehicle?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, you're under arrest because you got a concealed weapon." And I'm like, "How can I have a concealed weapon if you see it? That don't even make sense."
Did they have a probable cause?
See, my thing is, I don't argue of what they think their probable cause is because they'll make up whatever it is they want to make up. The key is, I'll beat this in court.
That's fact.
There's no reason to argue what his probable cause is. At the end of the day, he's going to do what he's already put in his mind to do. Yeah. So what I got to do now is I got to put myself in a tactical position to beat him.
That's true. That is true. Because once their mind is already set, you know what I'm saying? And I tell people that all the damn time, man. Because I didn't been pulled over just driving my block. I had a dude pull me over because I had dealer plates. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to make sure that this car wasn't stolen, because some people, are stealing cars and everything and throwing dealer plates on the cars, what he told me. So he just wanted to make sure, everything was legit. Oh, where you going, man? My son got a basketball game at the YMCA right now that you're making me late for, man. Am I being detained? Am I free to go? Oh, no, you're free to go, man. We just want to make sure everything was everything, man. You know what I'm saying? Here goes your license, and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, dude, it's just harassment, and I should have pushed a harder line then. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these dealer plates are not proper. They're not illegal.
They're
You know what I'm
not.
saying? So now you're racial profiling me
But you're a
because
young
there's no
black man with dealer plates.
that part.
They need to understand why does he have dealer plates? Hmm.
Why didn't we go straight to assuming the car is stolen when a young black man is driving this, right? Versus, oh yeah, he bought that. Let me wait till a crime is committed first, or I witness a crime, right? Before I get to pulling up on somebody and saying, "Oh, I got you." Oh, okay, I didn't get you. All right, you can carry on. You know
And
what
that's
I'm
what
saying?
and that's one of the biggest problems with pretextual traffic stops. Those traffic stops that happen for, like what you're saying, got pulled over because he didn't have a seatbelt on, or because he didn't have he didn't use a turn signal. I'm like, come on, man. Like they need to do away with that reason for traffic stops, because it always, not say always is the wrong term, but I say 51% of the time or better, it always escalates into something it shouldn't. And a person gets ticketed or charged for something that really shouldn't have been done. And that's the reason why when you get pulled over like that, it's really, really important that keep your cool, use your mind. Don't get aggressive. Don't feel like, okay, I'm about to show this guy he's wrong. I'm gonna show him this and this and this. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna put yourself through unnecessary time wasting. You know what I'm
Ultimately,
saying?
yeah. Ultimately, yeah,
Ultimately, you're gonna
yeah,
waste a lot of damn time for nothing.
yeah. Yeah, because you're not fighting a case on the streets, man.
You're
At
not
the end of
fighting
the
those streets.
day, you have to understand the battle is not on the streets, it's in the courtroom. So get your ticket and get home safely.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? And then you double back and you make them pay for it. But you get your
exactly.
ticket and you get home safely because that person that's standing over you with that gun and badge, man, even if they're violating the law, even if they're violating the law, at the end of the day, the lower courts is going to side with them. So, you can't really go in there and battle that on the streets. You got to get up out of there safely, right? Don't argue with these people because their mind is already set. I pulled you over for this reason, and this is all I need.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it's a gang neighborhood. You, you got any guns in there? You got any weapons in there? You know what I'm saying? You got to, and that's another thing I learned is be cautious of how you call your pistols and things of that nature, man. Because they're not weapons. I actually had an officer tell me when you call your arms, if you will, weapons. Now they can use that against you. You see what I'm saying? Because now you do got weapons, and in their mind, you can use that against somebody and hurt somebody
Right.
versus the ideology of I had the right to bear arms. It doesn't say I had the right to bear weapons because a weapon can be used against somebody. Whereas if I had the right to bear arms, that's my constitutional right. This isn't a weapon. This is just I go hunting with this or I go use this at a gun range. As a matter of
Right.
fact, I'm heading to the gun range right now before you even pull me over, even though I'm heading to the liquor store or grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So,
No,
uh,
that's a strong point, and
mhm,
I never thought of that. And I'm glad we did. We talked about that because
mhm.
weapons are specifically for offensive purposes.
Bingo. You are on the offense if you have a weapon. Hey,
Yeah.
straight the fuck up. I'm glad you said that, man, because we don't really pay attention to that type of stuff because we've been brainwashed by them
Yes.
to believe the terminology that we're supposed to use for our arms are weapons, and they're not weapons. I'm not using my weapons to go out there and shoot people, hurt people. Majority of my things, my pistols or shotgun or anything is at the gun range. I take my kids shooting, you know what I mean, so they can go, so they can learn and not be afraid of this type of stuff. You know, um, and I think it's important that we get it right because again, that can and will be used against us in a court of law. They're gonna say, well, yeah, Mr. Jarvis had his weapon on him, and that right there in itself, now I got to fight that in the court of law.
That's very strong. And I'm gonna be honest. Everybody in my circle moving forward, I'm gonna tell them, don't call it a weapon, just call it a firearm.
A firearm. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, man. Hey, call it a firearm. Everybody listening, call this joint a firearm. Do not call it a weapon because they will use weapon against you in a court of law. Like
Yeah.
my son got pulled over for not having his turn signal on, right? When they pulled him over, he pulled up on him, got his license, registration, all that type of stuff, came back, ran his information, came back, was looking at it real quick, looking at him, and he seen my son's leg shaking, right? And based off my son's leg shaking, he said, "Oh, you look nervous. I can see your heart beating through your chest. And since we're in a gang neighborhood, you know what I mean? Why don't you step out the car real quick so I can search the car?" My son was like, "I don't give you permission to search me or the car." And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna give you to the count of three." And keep in mind, as soon as he got pulled over, my son was already on FaceTime with his mom. So that way there's another witness to witness what's going on. And so he said, "I'm gonna give you to the count of three." My son didn't know. I educated him on the things to say, but I forgot the part of only cracking your window about an inch to have a conversation with the dude. Right? My son had the window all the way down, so the dude literally opened the door, reached in, unbuckled my son, right, and then gave him to the count of three to get out. "I'm gonna give you to the count of three, and then I'm gonna pull you out," which is a threat, right there.
Right.
3, 2, and his mom was like, "Son, just get out." You know what I'm saying? Like, just go ahead and get out, man. Um, so he got out, handcuffed him, threw in the keep in mind for an infraction. They said, according to him, he said he did not put his blinker on before he turned. So an infraction, right? Put him in handcuffs, threw him in the backseat of the cop car. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, he was on a FaceTime. His mom was already on the way. So people from the community was already on their way. To pull up because we always, in everybody should do this, man. I don't care what hood you are in America. Film the police. If you see a traffic stop, pull up and start filming. You ain't got to, stay 20 feet away, but start filming. You know what I'm saying? And ask them, "Hey, did you give them permission to search your car?" Most people are going to say no because you have to consent to all that type of stuff if they don't have a warrant. You see what I'm saying? So back to what happened to my son. He's in the backseat of the car, handcuffed, everything. Now keep in mind when he was getting out, the phone fell onto the seat face up, still on FaceTime with his mom. So as he put him in the back seat of the car, he comes back, starts searching the car, and she sees this right here in the FaceTime. She sees this right here, and she's like, "Didn't he just say he don't consent to you, going searching the car?" Dude hung up the phone, right? Hung up the phone. So that way, there's in his mind, he's thinking there's no evidence, not even knowing she's about to pull up in seconds.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So he's going through, dumping her purse out, even the sunflower seeds. The dude literally took the sunflower seeds and dumped them onto the ground.
Wow.
That was his energy. You understand what I'm saying? He found absolutely nothing. Left the car
Of
wrecked.
course.
You know what I'm saying? Took all the papers out of the glove compartment, all that type of stuff, threw it on the ground, left the car wrecked. 5 other officers pull up and they create like a little barricade in front of him. And his mom, her boyfriend, and a few community people in the community were right there as well. It's actually on my Facebook, man. If you look up Antoine Jarvis with 2 S's, you'll actually see the video. And I posted it on my IG as well. If you look up it's Mr. Antoine Jarvis with 2 S's, you'll be able to see the video for yourself to determine if what I'm saying is accurate, and determine for yourself if what happened should have happened, or was there any wrongdoing. And they pulled up. They told Abraham, you gotta sign this ticket. Um, so you can get up out of here. And it was a whole stink. Long story short, um, he got the ticket, and now we're pursuing a lawsuit. Uh, we hollered at a few of the attorneys in San Diego. You know what I mean? And one of them was like, "Hey, are you guys open to a class action lawsuit to really get this? You know what I'm saying? Really
Right.
turn this into something, versus just one individual going in and fighting the courts. Let's just get let's turn this into something, really push the issue,
That way you can
because
show a
it's
pattern of
happening too
practice.
many times. Exactly, exactly, because it's happening too many times. They already did a study, and this doesn't happen on the scale it happens to black and brown people the way it does to white people. You know what I'm saying? And not even that though, not even that. It does not happen in the suburbs. You see what I'm saying? There is no occupation like this in the suburbs. Because again, you know what I mean? My son would tell you when he was living with me in the suburbs, this never happened. He was with like five of his friends, and they're all black. He said the police drove by and waved at them. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, so, at the end of the day, for one, it is a class thing, if we're being honest. You know what I mean?
It
Because
is.
it's not really it's not no occupation like that in in the suburbs. You feel me? And a lot of people will tell you, oh yeah, uh, don't leave the hood because that's what they want you to do. But you got me fucked up. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and subject my children to this type of trauma for what? Why would I do that when I have the opportunity to get them out of that? And then what we can do is now we can have conversations about buying the community. But just to sit in it and occupy that area, because it's really not a community, because it's a community if the people as a whole get together and they fight and support each other, then that's a community to me. You have a common unity. It's not really a common unity if you just got a few people that live there and majority of them just do their own thing. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? But that's a whole nother conversation.
Everybody else
But
in their bubble.
that's all I'm saying. It's a community. If we all got together and we had a meeting and said, okay, we're all following a suit, we're all man. I don't fall for that. So let's stay up in here because that's what they want me to do stuff. No, I'm gonna get up out of here so I don't have to subject my kids to this type of trauma because that's ludicrous to me. Why would I do that when I don't have to? Yeah, I'll double back and piece up with anybody. We can put a clothing store in there. We can put a barbershop in there. We can put a business in the hood, right? But I'm not going to live in the hood, especially when my focus is to elevate because the hood creates it's a whole other conversation. But
Whole
um,
nother conversation.
it's a whole other conversation because it goes back to the mindset that the hood creates. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But
Like I said, everybody's in survival mode in the hood.
bingo, bingo, and a lot of people don't understand that, man. When you're in the hood, you are in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? So now my son is traumatized from that experience because he just got pulled over like 2 weeks ago before that for allegedly making a turn and not putting on his blinker, and they gave him a warning for that. You know what I'm saying? So we meeting with the attorney today to go over our options, um, and then and shortly actually he should be calling shortly about going over our options. But I just feel that we got to get this type of stuff out there so people can understand, you know, um, and I get it from a police officer's perspective. You know what I mean? And you tell me if I'm accurate or not. From a police officer's perspective, especially if you are a white cop, right? Um, I can't expect a white cop to know what it's like to get pulled over. What the hell just happened?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
What the hell just happened?
You talking in the dark. So yeah,
Well,
but while you got a little technical, I'm speak on a couple of things real quick. Is one of the things I think is really important is when the cops pull you over for something minor, and then they try to escalate it into searching and all this other stuff. Do not get intimidated by their threats. I think that's an important piece. So because here's the deal, like so if
yes,
it's something really minor, like you got pulled over for not using a traffic signal, and then you say, "Oh, you're nervous. You need to step out the car." Then I'm like, I don't want to step out the car. Why do I need to step out the car?
right.
And when they say, "Well, I'm gonna pull you out," this is what I tell people: let that officer pull you out. Don't resist. Just say, I'm gonna stay right here because I've done nothing wrong. You're supposed to give me a ticket for what you've pulled me over for.
Now you're
And then if
assaulting me.
they pull you out, Now you have a physical confrontation instigated by the police officer, which further gives you further credence in a lawsuit.
Mm, see, these are the type of things that we gotta learn about. You know, unfortunately, sometimes we gotta wait till something bad happens before we have these conversations. But on our podcast, Deconflicted, man, I think these are the type of things we gotta have a conversation about now, um, because you gotta really understand. You gotta really break it down first. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
a lot of the stuff that you were talking about is really just assessing the situation. You know what I mean? And really looking
yes,
at what you're going up against.
right,
Um, and then really, decide, what's the next move I gotta make. And a lot of times if you don't know what to do, they'll just trample over your rights, and you just go
yep,
about your way and not even know that you are now suffering from trauma, because every time a cop pulls up, you get nervous.
exactly. Because that's how most cops operate. They try to
You know what I'm
operate
saying?
from an intimidation perspective. They
Right.
they they try to intimidate so they can get you to comply. That's the reason why they punch you. That's why they do all the things because it's all about paying compliance. They're trying to get you to
It
comply,
is.
but
It is.
you don't always have to comply when you would know your rights. When they asking you for information that you don't have to provide, don't provide it. No matter what they say. Well, you know what? You do what you got to do, and I'll do
That's
what I
facts.
have to do.
That's facts.
Because here's a sad thing is a lot of police departments they don't get it until they've had to dole out thousands or millions of dollars in settlements.
You just hit it dead on the money, man. You gotta hit them in their pockets.
That's the only way
You
to
gotta
understand.
hit
That's
them.
the only way.
You gotta hit them in their pockets. You gotta go after their bonds. You know what I mean? My kid's mom is a notary, and I was telling her about the bonds and stuff. She was like, "Yeah, that's right, because I need a bond to be a notary." I said, "Yeah, any public official, not on, swears the oath to uphold the Constitution, but also has to get a bond, an insurance bond, a surety bond. You know what I'm saying? To deal with when they're dealing with the public, just in case any injury takes place, you're covered. What
Yep.
happens is, if people are suing and keep addressing and keep attacking that bond of yours, now you're a liability. We can't even hire you no more. So
Your
now
rating
the
goes
police
down.
officers, come on, listen, hey, let's
Every
deconflict
city
this
has
real
a
quick.
rating. Every
Let's
city has
deconflict
its rating.
this. Come on, let's deconflict this real quick. You know what I'm saying? Hey, when you start hitting that, the rating goes down. Now that police officer is a liability. Now he can't feed his family. So now he's only
Yep.
think twice about doing that. Doing whatever he got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And at the end of the day, don't just stop on the local level, because again, these police officers are in court all the time. They have buddy relationships with the judges, the district attorneys, and all that type of stuff. Let's just be honest, right? So don't stop at the local levels if you don't get your results. You can appeal that on up to the higher courts. And then
Facts.
now we can start utilizing the actual law itself versus statutes. We can actually use the law itself. You understand what I'm saying? To now
You start looking
combat
at the
this.
constitutionality.
Come on, let's look at it from a constitutional standpoint, right? Let's look at it from a constitutional standpoint to protect ourselves. Because my son has the right to travel, just like you have the right to travel. I got pulled over in Hemet one time for my car allegedly looks like another guy's car. Police jumped out with their guns out and everything. Was like, oh yeah, this car looks like the car of a dude that we're, of a dude it's a sting operation of a dude we're trying to intercept for, what I'm saying? Allegedly, he's selling guns out of your apartment complex. And I was like, so you got eyes on him, right? And you're telling me you didn't see that I wasn't him when I walked into the car, got into the car and drove off. You didn't see that I wasn't him. Got you. I was so traumatized by that, man. I went straight to the mayor of the city, man. Started working with the mayor, and started to understand, man. Like there's things you can do, not just file a
Absolutely.
complaint. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to just leave it at file a complaint. You can really attack this. You understand what I'm saying?
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Come on, man. As soon as that thing starts squeaking, it's time to grease that joint. Straight the
Yep,
hell up, man. You gotta listen. If you have rights and you're not willing to stand up on your rights, bro, what the hell do you even have them for?
facts.
I'm talking
That's
about
a fact.
people that bled for your rights. And you telling me you're not gonna stand on them?
Hey
You see what
man,
I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you, man. Coming from Cincinnati as a younger man, and Cincinnati's is way better than it was when I was growing up. Uh, they, like most cities, had a pattern of trying to make sure they got young men of color in the criminal justice system, and they tried their damnedest to get me. I'll be honest. They tried. I mean, I didn't. I remember I went to court for they gave me a ticket for reckless driving because somebody hit me. uh, and I took it to court, and the cop lied and said he saw me. When I rolled right past him, he was standing outside uh, by this bar called Parktown. And I was like, and again, I didn't argue. When he
Right.
pulled me, when he came up to the scene of the accident, and he came and he said what he was going to do, I was like, all right. All right. There's no reason to argue because you're not going to change their mind. Only thing you might do is you might escalate it and make it worse for yourself. I
Right.
said, all right, I see you in court. I remember the judge I saw, Judge Nadine Allen. And I'll be honest, this is one I lost though because I said I might be speeding. And that's why I said you got to be careful about the things you say. Because even though the accident wasn't my fault or anything, since I
Right.
said I might have been speeding, she said, since you said that, I gotta find you
You
guilty.
did the work for them.
I did the work for him.
You
And and,
incriminated
and, that, and
yourself.
that one happened when that happened in 1997. I was 24 years old when that happened. And I've never done nothing like that again. I said, okay, just give just enough information that's required.
Mm. So it sounds like what you're saying is really what you learn from it is as soon as you get pulled over, assess the situation,
Yep.
right? See what you got going on. You don't have to talk to these police. I want you guys to understand this. You do not have to talk to them. You do have to give them your driver's license and your registration. You have to identify yourself to avoid any headache, right? Here you go. Already got that for you. Already have when you get pulled over. Already have that stuff ready, so you don't have to go reaching for nothing. Already have that ready. Here you go. Can I ask you why you pulled me over? They're gonna tell you why, right? Okay, cool. As soon as they start talking and asking anything else, just say, "Hey, I don't want to ask. I don't want to answer any questions because
Yep.
when police talk, they always talk in questions, in the form of questions, because they
They're
want
always
you to do all the
investigating.
talking and incriminate yourself. It's always investigating. You know what I'm saying? It's like a woman who thinks you cheating. She gonna go
Yep.
straight into the FBI mode. You understand what I'm saying? And go straight into investigation mode. You know you done fucked up, right?
Yep.
You know you done fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they get you. That's how they get you. They start asking these questions. So now it's time for you to really look at this and be like, okay, now I got to make a decision. If you say anything, they're going to use that against you in a court of law. That's what the Miranda rights say, right? So don't say nothing. I refuse to answer any questions. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a ticket, I'll go ahead and take that, sign it, and be on my way. You see what I'm saying? Um, and then you can go ahead and fight that in court, man, and go from there because you're not gonna win trying to have a court session or courtroom session on the streets.
Facts.
It's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So the best way to deconflict the whole situation is don't answer no questions. You don't have to. You can plead the fifth. Hey, listen, I don't want to answer any questions. But I will take, if you're gonna give me a ticket, I will take that sign and be about my way. But I refuse to answer any questions. You see what I'm saying? And then you
Yep.
just you just go from there, man. Get that ticket and get up out of there, man. And then fight that in court, man. I don't know why people are scared to take it to a jury trial.
Exactly. And another thing, and then when you get in court, just give the information that's required. Say, I'll tell you another thing that we have a habit of doing. I've seen so many people get negative outcomes through the court system because they over explain and give too much information, not realizing that, you actually gave them enough information to get you.
To hang yourself. To get you.
Exactly.
You gave them enough information to use against you.
You think you're giving them a justification for what you did, but what you did is you gave them a justification to convict you.
Straight the fuck up. Straight up. Straight up, man. So yeah, man, that's just what we wanted to touch on today, man, and just really just put that out there, man, and hopefully this goes viral and people start to share this and having these conversations, you know what I mean, about what to do when you're interacting with the police. Um, if I would have known what I know now, I would have got the police report when they pulled me over. You know what I'm saying? I would have figured out what the police report was. I would have filed a complaint, man. I would have pushed the issue, much harder than I did, because now I'm traumatized. I BS you not, man. Once I get pulled over or I see police lights, I'm nervous, even if I'm not doing nothing. And 9 times out of 10, because there's sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I just be riding with my music loud and stuff like that, and I be in my zone and the music's loud and I can't really hear nothing. But 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I had to say, man. You wanted to touch on anything else before we get out of here?
The only other thing I'll touch on is like me, I used to be traumatized, but I'm at the point now, and I got to the point pretty quick where I don't get nervous when I see police lights. Because my thing is, I know my rights. And when you know your rights, there's no reason to get nervous. Because at the end of the day, if they go too far, just know, okay, I guess I got a payday coming.
What you're saying is change the mindset. Okay.
Change the mindset.
Listen,
instead of thinking you need to defend yourself, remember, they got to prove you guilty. You ain't got to prove you innocent. You know what I'm saying?
That's the part I be forgetting sometimes, man. That's the part I be forgetting. Hey, listen, on Deconflicted, man, I don't mind new ways of doing things and making my adjustment, because I'm not perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is why I enjoy these builds right here, man, because we can utilize this information to do better and then teach the next generation. This is how you do it based off of the mistakes I made. This is the right way of doing it, or this is one way of doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that right there, because I'm gonna change my whole mindset about that. Let me see the police. Okay, cool. I ain't even nervous no more.
Exactly. You don't need to get nervous. If you ain't did nothing, ain't nothing to be nervous about. And if you did do something, you know what you did, so ain't nothing to be nervous about.
That's right. Either way, you know what I'm saying? Either way, don't allow that energy, you know what I'm saying, to overwhelm you, if you will.
Yes.
Because it can, you know what I'm saying, to the point to where you get sick every time. And I think that's what leads to the frustration. The nervousness kind of leads to the frustration, what kind of leads to you trying to be combative with the police versus just maintaining your calm. You see what I'm saying? Versus maintaining your calm and not overreacting. And that's spoken from a person who's been, pulled over, 50 plus times in his lifetime, versus me. I probably been pulled over like, 7 or 8 times.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And majority of the time it was over some bullshit. You feel me? So I'm definitely gonna take that into consideration, brother.
Yeah, and I said, and the last thing I want to say is, don't panic. Panic is what always gets you in trouble. When you panic, you could mess around and lose your life.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Keep it cool. Keep it calm. Even if you had something that you was in a rush to do, you always got to assess the situation you're in. You know what? I got something I want to do that I needed to do, but I got to deal with this that I'm dealing with right now. And you're trying to get out of that situation first. And even if they say, you know what, we're gonna place you under arrest, there's no reason to fight. Because once they make that decision, it ain't changing.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying?
They're not gonna change it. They're not gonna change it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, perspective is everything.
Yeah.
Perspective is everything, man. I'm telling you right now, perspective is everything.
Yeah. So
you right about that
cool.
one.
Just make sure you on your P's, like you on your P's and Q's. You dotted your I's and crossed your T's. And
Cross
at the
my
end of the
T's.
day, because the key is always control the narrative. The
Right.
truth is a narrative. So if you control the narrative, you control the truth. So and that's the last thing I just want to add. Like I said, hey folks, don't be a victim. Keep your head straight, and things will always end up the way you've set yourself to have them end up.
That's facts.
Facts.
I second that. I second that motion, man. And man, you guys enjoy the rest of your day, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's discuss this, man. And let's just focus on each one teach one, helping each other out in any way possible, and do not be afraid to record the police. Keep your
Right.
distance, but do not be afraid to record the police.
And don't let them punk you.
That part. Ain't no sucker shit around here, man.
Yeah,
10
that's
toes.
what they do. They try to punk
10
you.
toes, man. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. Because they got a
yeah.
badge and a gun and they were suckers in high school.
And now they feel tough. And don't get me wrong. Most police go into policing to do good. 100%.
Correct.
Most people go into policing to do good in the
Right. To make a
community,
change.
to make a positive change.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a human being just like you are. They get frustrated, they get scared, they get nervous, just like you do. So why add to the intensity of a situation?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
all right. So until next time, people,
Until
have
next time.
a beautiful day.
Peace to the gods. All right now.
All right.